No, when I heard that in the movie theater, I got really pumped. And they used it at the perfect time in this movie, man. So 2 movies came out this past week. I would have put these reviews up earlier, but I just wasn't home last week. But I saw 2 movies this past week. I thought I should do a review of them. Creed and The Good Dinosaur. So you guys get a 2-for-1 special. Hey guys, thank you for joining the quest again today. I'm your host Marques Underwood, and guess what I'm reviewing today? I'm reviewing Creed. I'm also reviewing The Good Dinosaur. I'll put the link in the description of the time in which you guys can click to go to that particular review. And also I'll put it right here in the video up right top so you know you can skim through. But I'm reviewing Creed, which is directed by Ryan Coogler, and it stars Michael B. Jordan, Sylvester Stallone, and Tessa Thompson. And this right here, honestly, this may be the second best movie in the whole Rocky franchise. And that's saying a lot. I really enjoyed this movie, honestly. I feel like this is probably my favorite movie of the whole year. It's about this guy, Adonis, who happens to be Apollo Creed's son. And Apollo Creed, from what we know in the movie, he has like an affair or so. And Adonis is the product of that affair. And so Adonis, obviously Apollo died in Rocky IV. So Adonis doesn't know who his father is really. He doesn't personally know him, but he always heard stories of him. And he kind of has this grudge against his father just because he never knew him. And so he's very violent, rough, tough. He's really using boxing as like a way out to get all his anger and frustration out on people. And so he tries to run into Rocky, which later helps him and trains him into becoming a professional fighter. This story is really about both of them meeting each other just as much as it is about boxing. Because, Rocky being old and everybody else that he knew and that we knew from the franchise, they passed on, so he's by himself. And Adonis feels like he's by himself in the world. So it's a good collaboration effort on both sides. The directing in this movie, it was great. There's this one scene, like the official boxing fight, the first one that happens in the movie, and it's just like a one-shot take. I don't know how he does it, because like usually when you see boxing fights, you see cuts to the person's corner, and you see cuts when like somebody gets punched in the face or whatever. But the camera, it just circles around them. You see things from the other guy's perspective, you get to see things from Adonis's perspective, and it all works really well and it's very fluid. Acting is great, of course. I honestly think that Michael B. Jordan and Sylvester Stallone should both be nominated for Oscars for Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor. Their tag team duo, it was just great. They really fed off each other really well. These scenes where it got emotional, Michael B. Jordan held his own. This is probably his most emotional scene I've seen probably since Fruitvale Station, which is, kind of ironic because him and Ryan Coogler worked together on Fruitvale Station. And even Sylvester Stallone, this is probably his best performance in years. I mean, I like the Expendables, but performance-wise, that comes nothing close to this one. I also like the references to the old Rocky franchise. Like they had the whole chicken scene where you had to chase the chickens. I remember that being in the first one, and like it just feels gritty and it feels like Philadelphia. When you watch this and you see the scenes, you're reminded of the place. They take you back to the whole Mickey place, and that's just cool to see that again. It's been a while since you've seen the Mickey place and see what it became within these past few years, and it's just cool. And I kind of feel like the urban vibe in it too. So that's a good job by Ryan Coogler in my eyes. I also like the love story too. Usually love stories, especially in boxing, they're kind of pushy and things happen very fast, but it kind of took its time. I do wish that Tessa Thompson's character kind of had a little bit more to do, but she was great and I liked her role. And surprisingly, there's a lot of humor in this one. Like there's this one scene where Adonis, he's getting notes from Rocky, and Rocky's like, "You gonna take the paper?" And Adonis is like, "It's up in the cloud," and he's talking about the cloud service because you take pictures with your phone, you can send it up to the networks and stuff. And Sylvester Stallone's character Rocky, he just looks up in the cloud and he doesn't just get it. It's just so funny. And there's another scene, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's just funny too. But overall, I really like this movie. I'm giving this movie an A+, a 5 out of 5. Like I said, this is probably my favorite movie of the year. Definitely probably top 5 in my eyes. Great acting, great directing. Probably should be nominated for Best Director, Best Picture too, along with the Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor nominees. And I think you guys should go check this out. And I want to know, what's the best movie in the Rocky franchise? Let me know in the comment below with that one. If you're here, I just finished the Rocky review and now we're doing A Good Dinosaur, which is another Pixar movie that came out the same year that Inside Out did, which I believe is a first for Pixar movies. But I love this movie, honestly. I think this is going to go down as the most underrated Pixar movie. It's not as flashy or fast-paced as a Toy Story. It's not as kid-friendly probably as a Cars, which is probably a good thing to some of you guys, even though I like Cars. But What I mean by most underrated, this is probably one of the most emotional, probably one of the best ones, if not the best ones, when it comes to giving morals about how to develop and become a better person. Now this story follows a dinosaur. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he's basically like what the humans are in every other movie, and he's trying to like make his mark in his household. Basically, that's what the whole story is about. And he comes across this human, which basically is like a dog. So they kind of play reverse roles in this movie, and he kind of helps him get on this journey of finding his mark. And what we see really is just the meaning of family, friendships, how to help each other during tough circumstances, and it's just a great movie in my opinion. And what I noticed really is that they don't really talk much in this movie too, and it really works, surprisingly. It doesn't really deteriorate from the whole story, but it actually helps it in my opinion. And I like this scene. There's a lot of comedy involved. I think the animation was done really well too in my eyes. I do think some of the creatures, like the bird creatures, I felt like they did kind of like stick out within the environment just because they were like so CGI heavy and the background kind of felt really realistic or so. But other than that, I really thought the animation was really good. I liked how the character arc of the dinosaur from point A, when we first meet him, to point B, and how he slowly gets over his fear with the help of the human called Spot, and also some other people I'm not gonna put out there. But I just like this movie, honestly. I'm not saying this is like a top 5 Pixar movie or nothing like that, but it's definitely up there with the best of them in my eyes. I'm giving this movie an A-, a 4.2 out of 5. This is probably, honestly, I like this movie better than Inside Out. I'm gonna put that out there. That's how much I like this movie. Honestly, like I said, the animation's good, the story is great, it really tugs at the hearts, as some scenes kind of like how up there in the beginning at 15 minutes, you kind of feel that here, and I just love it. So I want to know, what's the best Pixar movie you've seen? And what's the better movie, Inside Out or The Good Dinosaur? Again, comment below with your thoughts, and thank you for watching this video. Again, I'm your host Marques Underwood, enjoying the quest.